Hello, everyone. Welcome to GNU according to CD, that is Government of National Unity. So, there's a topic that I have not talked about because I think it's silly on both ends. And the South African person that started this nonsense, he needs to be called out. He needs to be rebuked. He needs to be brought before. Okay, he needs to be called out. He needs to be disciplined by South Africans for having done what he had done to innocent, hardworking Nigerians back in Nigeria with their bolts. Because, come on, this is somebody's bread and butter that you were playing with. If you felt somewhat about Nigerians or whatever it is that is happening between Nigerians and South Africans, it is wrong to go for innocent people that have done absolutely nothing to you. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. That was evil. That was not being patriotic to South Africa because we are not that type of people. Yes, rightfully so, Nigerians retaliated. But the retaliation, however, it still hit back on the wrong people that are driving Bolt in South Africa. Now, if you're not a South African and you're probably listening to this video from somewhere else in the world, our e-hailing business, the Bolts, the Ubers, and whatever else that is there, the majority of them, when I say majority, I'm talking something like 95 to 98% of these Bolt drivers, the majority of that majority are driven by Nigerians in South Africa. And I know this for a fact because every time I order an Uber or I order a Bolt, I am always picked up. I would say 99% of the time, I'll be picked up by a Nigerian. If it's not a Nigerian, it's going to be a Zimbabwean. If it's not a Zimbabwean, it's going to be a Ghanaian. If it's not a Ghanaian, it's going then to be a South African. It's rare to when I order to be picked up by a South African Bolt driver. So what am I trying to say is all this retaliation was on the wrong people to begin with. And all these hullabaloo that is going on between South Africa as well as Nigerians, South Africans in the background, they are still laughing at the so-called retaliation because it does not touch a majority of South African Bolt drivers. Yes, there were those South African Bolt drivers that were affected, but they are a drop in the ocean compared to the Bolt drivers and Uber drivers that are driving Uber here in South Africa. Ask anybody that has visited South Africa from your country and ask when you ordered an Uber. If you ask, many people do ask, especially when Americans come to South Africa, they like to know who's driving them, which country they come from, because they understand also that South Africa, it is a United Nations of Africa. And in most cases, they will tell you, I was driven by a Zimbabwean, I was driven by a Ghanaian, I was driven by a Nigerian. Hardly you will ever hear them say, my Uber driver was a South African citizen, unless it is a Zimbabwean who pretends to be a South African, because in most cases, that's what we have, simply because some Zimbabweans do speak a language called Ndebele, and Ndebele is very close to Zulu. And in fact, a South African Zulu can understand and also can understand Ndebele perfectly because they almost similar. In fact, they come from the same family. Let me put it that way. So they always, because they're in South Africa, they feel like it's much more better or safer to say I'm a South African, and then they always say Zulu. As a Zulu person myself, I can tell that no, you're not. You are not a South African. I can tell as a Zulu person because sometimes they will think that maybe I'm of a different tribe in South Africa when actually no, I'm Zulu and I know how Zulu and the accent of the Zulu people, how it sounds like. There are different accents in the Zulu nation. You have the Northern KZN, you're gonna have Southern KZN, you're gonna have Durban, and you have South. And these accents, they're not similar, but they are Zulu. So, anyways, we are not there. The point that I'm trying to make is the thing that Nigerians are celebrating, that, oh yeah, we shut down South African businesses. No, you did not shut down South African businesses. You were hurting your own people in the majority. It's just that they are not going to say it because they know it's coming from you guys and they want to give you the illusion as well that you have won. And I've also heard some threats on our government systems. Let me tell you something: South Africa has intelligence, and the moment our systems are under threat, trust and believe me when I tell you, we are not going to succeed. South Africa has the best systems on the African continent. I did see somebody as well, I think it's a Nigerian person, who was going at us and said, oh, the South African economy, if we had to separate the white controllers of the economy and leave it to black, the Nigerians will outdo South Africans. You know what? That's a silly, childish, and juvenile way of debating, which, anyways, is gaslighting. And if you know anything about us South Africans, we no longer care about the gaslighting and all of that. You can throw in Orania all you want. Orania will be there and we'll keep it there. Not because we're afraid of anybody, we're just showing the world who are the racists in this country. If you want to go see them, like you go see animals in the zoo, well, you can go there and you can even create videos. But if you're going to come back and say, yeah, y'all are afraid of, no, trust me, we're not. We are absolutely not. And I will tell you one thing in case you are wondering. That area is the most surveilled area in South Africa in case they are trying to do something against the people of South Africa. So don't have to worry about that, but you're fine. We will let you throw in that Orania. We will let you throw in that land ownership that is not in the hands of black people in South Africa. We'll leave you, we'll let you go on and make yourselves feel better. That is why the majority of South Africans are like, all right, but your country is still a rat hole type of situation. So more and more South Africans, and I wish that South Africans stopped to talk back at this whatever is going on. For me on my side, I usually expose what I hear coming from other people about us. I am showing you that, oh, the South Africa you think we are, actually, here we go. The drugs and the crimes that is being committed by some of the green, white, and green, I show you, here it is. And I know it doesn't sit well because it's a norm to some of them to create or to cause these sort of situations. And I've always said on this very channel that the people that I'm having an issue with personally are the undocumented people because they're not contributing anything to the South African economy or contributing anything positively in our society. Instead, they are hurting our children, they are hurting our communities, they are dilapidating our cities and towns. And right now, as you can see with the reports, how Point in Durban, that place was beautiful once upon a time, and look at it now. We are not just saying things that we are sucking out of our thumbs, we are saying things that are real. Go to Hillbrook, go to all these places that we keep mentioning, and you are going to see them because the police are not done with the raiding and also arresting illegal. And I always say this illegal, and I'm going to always emphasize this on illegal because the people that are documented, guess where they are? They wake up every single morning together with South Africans to do what? To go to work. And they contribute positively into the South African economy. They pay taxes. We know where they are if ever they commit a crime. Those people, of course, are welcome, whether they are Nigerians or Ghanaians or Zimbabweans or whatever, it doesn't matter. As long as their papers are in order and they are contributing positively into the South African economy, very much welcome. The issue I am having, me personally, is the illegal ones. They commit crimes because they know they are not in our systems. When the police have to look for them, they are almost like ghosts. There's no way we can have something like that. That is national security risk. And we cannot allow this national security risk to exist for as long as it can. Some of y'all have even said to us, you are dangerous because where you come from, you are a soldier or a former soldier. How on earth are we supposed to feel safe? Because we know people that, or at least we've learned about child soldiers in some parts of Africa. We've heard about MEND. We have heard about Boko Haram. We have heard about Al Shabaab. We know those are dangerous people. Imagine now they are here in South Africa illegally. Goodness knows what they are doing, what training they are busy with, and then they're going to use those tactics on the people of South Africa. That is what you call national security risk, and we cannot have that. We cannot have that. We want when you commit a crime, we are able to get you. Now, how are we going to get you when you are off the grid? So that is the problem this channel is having. And I see people misconstrue me to not liking everybody from Africa, which is not true. It's not true. And I'm not going to be this typical guy who says, oh, well, I have friends who are Nigerians. I have friends who are Kenyans. No, I know who I am and I know who my friends are and I know the people that I interact with that are not South Africans, good people. And I've shared so many times that my personal barber, the guy that cuts my hair and my beard and makes sure that I look good when I wake up on Monday and go to work, is a Nigerian. Good guy, very good guy. So I would, I even told him one time, I will take a bullet for you. I told my Nigerian barber. That's how of a great human being he is. And I know many South Africans also go to do their hair, guess where? Either to a Ghanaian or to a what do you call this, a Nigerian. Because West African men are good with men hair or the head, sometimes even women hair. Because some salons, when you go in, you will find that the person that is doing the female's hair is a male. And in most cases, they come from West Africa. Same goes with nail technicians. Some of them are male and they do a fantastic job. And then we know they are legally here in South Africa because you can see the certificate of their business and the tax clearance on the wall that they are paying taxes in South Africa. It's the illegals that I have an issue with. It's the illegals the system of South Africa has an issue with, not you with the papers. That is why I always say if you know you are legal in South Africa, this video is not for you. Most of my videos definitely are not for you. However, it will also be nice for you who is legally in South Africa and know very well what's happening, what other your countrymen and women are doing in South Africa and say nothing. Because when you say nothing, that means you condone what your countrymen and women are doing that are illegally in South Africa or anywhere else in the world. It's going to help if you chastised and rebuked and said something that, guys, you are spoiling our name. You are also putting us in a certain situation because now when South Africa has to say, everybody go, they won't know whether this person is legally here or not because they live in our communities. They're integrated into our communities. So when something happens, the South African wouldn't know that this person is legal or not. What they know is that he's not a South African. So now all these videos that are being created, I can tell you one thing. The reason why the South African government now is waking up is because it understands when the people of South Africa want something, South Africans are going to get it. And if the government doesn't do anything, so to curb whatever you guys call us, that, what they call us again? Oh yeah, xenophobia. When South Africans actually rise up in their communities and say, no, and then CNN and BBC and everybody comes and then they label South Africa as xenophobic. All because South Africans are rising up in their communities and they are saying no. So now you create these videos mocking South Africans. South Africans have gotten to a point where we've grown thick skin. You can say anything and everything you want about Orania, about land, about white people, about our Miss South Africa, about everything that you want to throw at us. We don't care no more. We just doesn't care. We absolutely don't care no more. So the bolt to bolt thing, it is so childish, it's so juvenile, and to actually claim that you won the battle when in fact you were hurting your own people, who in their majority are the ones that are running Bolt in South Africa, they might not tell you the truth how much of losses they've made. There's not even one South African is going to come and say, oh yeah, I lost so much and all of that stuff. None. But there is a drop in the ocean of South Africans that are Bolt drivers. Buying a car is not cheap in South Africa. Same goes with Mr. Delivery. We have Mr. Delivery, that the guys that ride what you call motorbikes. Motorbiking is not a South African transport. That one thing I can tell. If there are South Africans who drive motorbikes, there will be those big fancy ones because they got these clubs in South Africa. I'm talking about the expensive one, not the ones that deliver. The most people that deliver, Mr. Uber, what Mr. Delivery, Uber Eats, and all that stuff that you guys are busy bragging about, it's not South Africans that are driving those things. And secondly, if you're thinking you are hurting South Africans by ordering at McDonald's, ordering at KFC, and what have you not, that is going to bring down our economy, clearly you don't understand the system of our economy. You absolutely don't. You don't understand how our Reserve Bank works. You don't understand how our internet itself works. Because I even heard somebody says, we are going to crash your internet with our intelligence. Good luck with that. But the point that I'm trying to make is we don't drive motorbikes on our road. If you come to South Africa, you will not see motorbikes like how you would see them in Nigeria. We don't have tuk tuk, is it tuk tuk, tuk tuk, whatever they are called. We don't have that stuff. We have vehicles, we have buses, we have taxis, and none of them are on a grid of some sort where like e-hailing type of situation. So you are still hurting non-South Africans by doing that. We are untouched, completely untouched. So now that you are bragging about how y'all are 260 million and 60 million of y'all are unemployed, you are the same size at the population of South Africa. Okay, good. I don't know that. But you are right about the unemployment. And that is why, with this unemployment, South Africans cannot afford to buy a vehicle and then register it with Bolt and then register it with Uber. We don't have that type of money. But y'all that are coming from wherever you are coming from, some of you come with money and then you learn our system, buy a vehicle, put it on Bolt, and then you are in business. And because it's driven by a Nigerian, I never say, oh, no, it's driven by a Nigerian. Please let me out. I never do that. And I'll never will do that. Or it's driven by anyone else. I will never do, because you know why? I know they are making an honest living. They are not committing a crime. They're not kidnapping anybody. They are not causing havoc in our communities. You can tell, like, evidently. Here, the person I ordered, they are here, and here they are with me. They drop me at my destination. And do you know what happens inside the vehicle when I order any, whether it's Uber or whatever? There's a conversation. Obviously, I will notice that this is not a South African, and I will ask, so where are you coming from? And they will tell me, and a conversation will spark from there. And sometimes the conversation will lead to, why don't South Africans travel? Why do you guys like being in South Africa? And yet they say we are more poor than Nigerian, because if you remove the white economy, we black South Africans are poor. Well, you can continue lying to yourself all you want. And the last thing that I also want to say in this video that I keep seeing coming from some of the Nigerians who are juvenile is that, oh yeah, during the days of apartheid, Nigeria contributed $61 billion. Sometimes it is $69 billion. Sometimes it is $60 billion. Sometimes it's $38 billion. You never know how much. In the 1960s, one even said that they sent it to Nelson Mandela. I'm like, oh, Nelson Mandela was serving 27 years in prison. And during the days of apartheid, or the apartheid government, it was so strict when it came to anything that was sent from anywhere else in the world into the country. Highly, highly, highly guarded. And you were sending billions of dollars to us, especially to Nelson Mandela in prison? Clearly, you don't understand how our prison systems work, because even today, I can tell you one thing: you cannot send even a cent in there. But, anyways, I'm not there. I am on your history in the 1960s, because in most cases, you guys always say in the 1960s. If I remember very well from history, yes, we also did your history in our schools. Y'all were busy with coups. It started with tribalism, which to this very day it still lingers in Nigeria. It's used, you guys use it against each other when it comes to politics, when it comes to religion, when it comes to economic opportunities, when it comes to social cohesion. All of that, it still plays to this very day. All because of what happened back in the day from the 1950s when you discovered oil all the way to date. You guys were busy on each other's throats. How on earth were you busy also signing checks to South Africa? There's no history whatsoever that shows that Nigeria contributed even a cent to South Africans to fight apartheid. Maybe you may have provided a soft spot to land for some of our politicians, even though they did come, maybe they were exiled, they did not integrate into your communities. You guys did not want them because you were already having your own tribal wars in your country. Your own tribal wars you were having. How on earth were you signing 61? Let's stick to $61 billion. How were you signing $61 billion when you were on each other's throats with one coup after another, after another, after another, after another? How many coups there were there in Nigeria? About 8? All the way till about 1992. And you all were contributing. You know, that lie, whoever told you guys in Nigeria that you contributed money to South Africa to fight apartheid, let it rest because it's not true. It's nowhere in any history of the world where Nigeria contributed a cent to South Africa. So if you want to go that route, then okay, provide evidence. Provide evidence, provide the banking details of the bank, because again, our banks were controlled by apartheid government. The moment a large sums of money coming from Nigeria into a black person's bank account, whether it was scattered around, they are not stupid. They were not stupid. Their intelligence were as sharp as our current intelligence. And you were sending $61 billion in the 1960s? Do you know how much is $61 billion back then? No, y'all are lying. You need to stop with that lie, and no South African actually believes that, because our history, we know the countries that helped us. Angola being the most. If you know our understanding, if the Angolians were the ones that were bragging that way, I would keep quiet because I know it for a fact. Even in my own family, my grandfather, my mother's father, his body still lies in Angola today because my family member, him particularly, was exiled and he landed in Angola. His remains are still there to this very day. So Angola has the right to brag. Zambia has the right to brag. Zimbabwe has a right to brag. Malawi has a right to brag. Tanzania has a right to brag. Those countries, we know them. Uganda has the right to brag. So where does Nigeria fit in? Because I know my history back to back, but I am very well versed with your own history, Nigerians. Very well versed. All the stuff that were happening in the 1960s, that decade for Nigeria was from Satan himself for Nigerians. And also understanding why you guys like immigrating. It is from that culture, running away from dictators who were killing you all for absolute no reason. The moment you showed any sort of opposition to the current dictator, you were targeted. So most of you were running away to the various parts of the world. We know that. That is why this Japa thing is not a new thing. It's been there since the 1960s. So this lie that you keep throwing at us, thinking that we're going to feel bad, that's why South Africans don't feel bad about it. It's like, where is this one coming from? It's not true. You contributed not a cent. If you contributed a piece of hiding for South African politicians, okay, maybe there I might not say anything because they were everywhere. Our struggle heroes, as we call them here in South Africa. But money, I get over yourselves. That's a lie. That's a lie. So I want you to address this once and for all that it's not going to work. That guilt trip is not even a trip at all. It dies right there in your borders if you are trying to throw it at South Africans. We know who are the African countries that helped South Africa. We know them. And Nigeria is not one of them at all. So please, don't throw in that. And you can go ahead and throw it. Fine, do it. But we only laugh at it. And I've been asking for receipts. Send a receipt. You know, one thing that is easily traceable is money, especially if you wired it or you whatever it is that you did to it entering into South Africa, because those records will be in South Africa. Even if you did it in such a way that it was not seen, one of the transactions would have been caught by the apartheid government. But if you want to talk about money that was being sent to the comrades of the ANC, PAC, and AZAPO, is Russia. I think Russia is the one that can beat its chest because it was providing weapons, it was also taking care of all the exiles wherever they were on the African continent. Unless you are telling us that Russia used to give Nigeria money to give to South Africa, but now the whole shebang. We never got a cent of it. If you did, show proof, prove it, and then they will say, "Oh, thank you guys, thank you so much for our freedom that you keep claiming." No, you never did contribute. Not once. There's not even one Nigerian name on our history books. Not even one. But I can tell you a whole lot of the other African countries that contributed. They are in our history books. Yes, they are. Mugabe included. Other than that, guys, I thought let me come and talk about this e-hailing war between Nigeria and South Africa. So you guys think it's not against South Africans. If you think you got South Africans, probably you only got 2% of those South Africans. Johannesburg, Nigerians. Cape Town, Zimbabweans, Nigerians, and other African countries, African citizens in Cape Town driving e-hailing. And then also, if you go to Durban, same story, but there, that 2% of South Africans, possibly that's where they are found in most cases, Durban. But in Johannesburg, Nigerians, those are the people that you were hurting, not South Africans. I'm just letting you know. I've been quiet all this time about this, and I'm like, do these guys actually understand who they were hurting? If there's an honest Nigerian who is a Bolt driver, creates a video, and then tell the story of what I'm saying, you will realize that you were hurting your own people. That's who you were hurting. So who's having the last laugh at the end? It's still South Africans. If now this is a matter of who win, who lost, South Africans are laughing. That is why most South Africans are not creating videos and crying, oh my God. And I did see some of you say South Africans are apologizing. Those are not South Africans that were apologizing. Possibly were Zimbabweans, if it's not Zimbabweans, the very same Nigerians themselves. I mean, I invite you to come to South Africa the right way and then take a Bolt from the airport to your hotel, be Airbnb or wherever you are going to. You'll be shocked that you were picked up by your very own countryman or woman. Anyways, guys, I thought let me come and give you my own 2 cents on this situation. It is evil. I don't agree with it, and I will not condone it. I don't support it 100%. And the South African boy that started it, I'm calling him out. Bro, you are evil. What you done, you targeted family people, family men and women that are doing innocent business to feed their families. That was not right. I will not support that. And I did say it when it started, and I'm saying it again now that it's kind of like dead. But when it comes to threatening our systems in South Africa, good luck on that one. I can tell you right now, you're not going to win it. You're not going to win it. We have super, super safe systems in South Africa. Super safe. Whether you attribute them to white people or you don't, fact of the matter is South Africa is still South Africa. It belongs to the people of South Africa. Black, white, Indian, coloreds. And yeah, and those South African Chinese. It belongs to those people, us. So try your best to penetrate us and divide us and do whatever it is that you think you're going to do to us. I can only wish you good luck. That part I can tell you. That part I can tell you. Anyways, guys, please do not leave this video without liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And when you subscribe, don't forget to click the bell notification so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much, everybody, for the super thanks. I will say it again, guys. Those of you who are super thanking this channel, may you be abundantly blessed. Not just you, because I know this is your family money. It doesn't matter how much it is. It's still your money that you take from your family that could buy bread or electricity or whatever the case might be, and you contributed to this channel. May you be blessed with your family, their children, and children's children. I highly appreciate you guys so very much for that. And also, thank you for watching the ads because that also contributes greatly to the channel. I highly appreciate you guys so very much. Abundance of blessings to you. It doesn't matter where you are on the African continent or in the world, and you appreciate me throwing in these small nuggets just to show you guys that South Africans, we are not just saying things, sucking them out of our thumbs. These our experiences, and they cannot be invalidated. It doesn't matter how woke you are, it doesn't matter how pan-Africanist you cannot invalidate our experience here in South Africa with illegal foreigners. The legal ones, we know they're contributing positively into our system, and we appreciate that, and they are welcomed, highly welcome. They can live with us, they can do stuff with us all they want, as long as they are still legal and they are abiding by the laws of the country. That's all. That is all, guys. Other than that, guys, thank you all so much for watching. See you next time with a new video. Goodbye.